I don't know if you watched it. I sent you, was it Moynihan was on Megyn Kelly's show?
Yeah, yeah.
And
He
the
did a good job
context
of pushing
was
back.
right. And I didn't know this at the time we had the conversation either. And it is an important point, which is that, Megyn Kelly, a lot of people were asking Megyn Kelly to criticize Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson or to call them out because, I mean, right now, Candace is, I don't know where Tucker's at right now,
Dropping
but
DMs on a
yeah.
dead man.
Yeah, Candace Owens has gone completely unhinged, saying Israel and the Jews are behind Charlie
I
Kirk
mean,
and
even
Thirty
if
Points
everything she's
USA.
saying
And
is, even if everything she's saying is true, I mean, it could just be coincidence. It's this like doing the yarn thing and setting it up as a
yes,
conspiracy is
yes.
just
Right,
so
right. Yeah.
evil. Yeah.
Right. Now she's leaking some kind of DMs from Charlie Kirk, which don't even really show what she's saying that they show, but it's really, really foul and disgusting. And so people were, criticizing Megyn Kelly. It's like you should call her out. And her response to that was on its surface, there's some element of it that I think is fair, where she was kind of casting it like, oh, I'm over here just doing my own thing. People come into my community, they say, you have to denounce Candace Owens, right? And fuck that. I'm not going to raise my fist. She kept comparing it to BLM. I'm not going to raise my fist. I'm not going to do that. And I would agree with her if it was true. If she's just sitting there minding her own business, just covering her own stories, she's not talking about Candace Owens or anything. And people just come in and say, you need to go denounce Candace Owens. I'd agree. They'd be like, why do I have to do this? I have nothing to do with this, right? And that's kind of how she's casting it. And I didn't realize is that she's being dishonest and framing it that way. Is that actually she did an entire segment on her show a week before, 2 weeks before, where she went over Candace Owens' conspiracy theories. She supported Candace Owens' conspiracy theories, and that she did point out the whole like, well, I don't think Israel killed them, but I do think like every other element of the conspiracy is true. And then when Moynihan was on the show and he pushed back against this, she even said like, "Oh, well, Candace is really smart. I don't think she's just making anything up. She's really good at this." And so if you come out and you do a whole segment on someone's insane conspiracy theories, including defending it, I think yes, if it, you should be, you should make a statement about like, okay, well, maybe I was wrong. That person's fucking crazy. You should be held to account for that person acting unhinged. You don't get to just be like, oh, well, I just agreed with everything they're saying. And then a week later, I just, wash my hands of it and say, how dare you ask me to denounce this person for turning out to be lying about everything?
If she's just reporting the stuff that is actually true, though, I'm not sure you could call it a conspiracy,
Well, she was
right?
reporting the article, the Max Blumenthal article and all that bullshit that we covered.
Right. Well, I mean, I listened to what she was talking about with Candace, and she talked about it seemed like the stuff she was talking about was inside information she got from Candace, like the fact that Candace was friends with Charlie Kirk, which I think some people were disputing, the fact that Candace Owens had information about uh, turning points being pressured by donors. Obviously, the funding amount was bullshit. So
Yeah, but that's a part of the problem. Candace just made up that number.
yeah, but look, she had Megyn Kelly also had other information that she knew was true because she had interacted with people who were involved in the meeting with the guy and whatnot. I don't think she sold it as a conspiracy theory. I think
Well,
obviously
she obviously
Candace is
didn't.
selling.
She sold it as being legitimate.
Well, she reported the things that actually did happen, though. That's all I'm saying.
Mm, I don't
Now,
I don't
look,
think
now we're
that's the
gonna have to
case.
bring it up
I
because
don't think that's the case. She went over the entire like all the accusations that Candace was making. Now you could like
yes,
if she just went over
there
and
was
said like,
some meeting that took place that people were saying people in the meeting were pressuring Charlie Kirk to um,
to be
disavow Israel
softer,
or something, or no, disavow and
Tucker, I
or
think.
stop having any sort of disavow Tucker, stop having any vocal criticism against Israel. the The story was, the conspiracy theory was that they were pressuring Charlie Kirk. I remember Megyn Kelly saying that she talked to Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk didn't feel pressured by this situation. He did feel like he didn't like being called anti-Semite or being accused of being an anti-Semite, but he didn't feel actually like they were gonna drop him as they were gonna stop
Yeah, but see,
funding him or
that's
anything like
she did
that.
not. If she had framed it like, "Oh, I had this conversation with Charlie Kirk as well, and he definitely talked about feeling frustrated that you're not allowed to have any criticism of Israel without this backlash." So he felt that way. But everything else Candace Owens is suggesting about being paid off and all these pressure campaigns, and that maybe this has something to do with his, death and all this other stuff, that's all unhinged and crazy. And Candace Owens is a piece of shit for even bringing it up. If she framed it that way, no one would have a problem with anything she said. But she
Yeah, but
didn't frame it that way.
I
She
know.
framed it as well, I don't know if I believe that Israel did it, but here's all this stuff that Candace is saying. I'm gonna tell everyone about it. I'm gonna say that I have an experience with Charlie that seems to sort of be in that same vein. And then when someone pushes back and says, well, you shouldn't believe Candace, like just anonymously reporting a bunch of shit with anonymous sources, she's going to say specifically, well, Candace is very smart and she's very good about this stuff. So you shouldn't just dismiss her.
We should bring up the videos because
It's like 30 minutes.
well, I saw the video completely differently. She was contesting things that Candace Owens was saying, and you coming out like even the way that you worded it, wanting her to come out and say Candace Owens is a piece of shit. She says in the video that she's friends with Candace Owens and they have a personal relationship, so she's not going to come out and
No, she said
call
she's
her a
friends with
fucking
Tucker. She said
and Candace Owens.
she said with Candace, she's like, well, Candace is under a lot of pressure. I don't want to add on to it or
Yeah,
whatever.
she's a recent mother, all of this kind of
Right,
stuff.
right,
Look,
right.
and someone in the comments was saying that it would be easy for her to start a fight with Candace Owens. And I'm like, in what universe is it easy to start a fight with Candace Owens, right? In what
It's
universe do you expend zero resources in a internet feud with
Listen,
Candace Owens?
we to go back to one of our classic shows.
Hmm.
Okay, we had one species on, and he made a bunch of accusations about no BS, and I said to him publicly on stream, I said, I think you're full of shit. I don't think
You
these
didn't have a
accusations.
relationship with no
Hold on,
BS.
hold on. Well, I had met him before, but whatever. I said, I think what you're saying, none of this is true. And then he sent me a bunch of stuff, and I said, oh, I was wrong. It is true. Now, you could say, now,
Yeah,
doesn't mean no
he's
BS has
some
to hold
fucking
on.
nobody that you don't even
Wait, stop,
know.
stop, stop. Let me finish. Okay.
Well, do
Doesn't
this with
mean,
someone that you actually have a relationship with.
so it's just Megyn Kelly should have loyalty to Candace Owens because maybe they're friends. And so she should promote things that Candace is saying
I
that are
didn't.
unhinged. And
Okay,
when people say, okay, you know
we
what? Well,
completely
hold
we
on. No, stop, stop, stop,
completely
stop, stop, stop,
disagree.
stop,
I don't
stop,
think she was
stop, stop,
promoting it at
stop,
all.
stop
Well,
talking.
hey,
Okay. Let
settle
me,
down. You don't need to get angry.
okay.
Okay,
Let me, here's how we'll reframe this entire thing.
look,
If
bring it
Megyn
up. If I'm
Kelly,
wrong, I'll say I'm wrong.
if Megyn Kelly came out and she just said, you know, I had promoted things, I reported things that Candace says, but she's my friend and I don't want to attack her publicly. Okay. And she just
That's
left it at
basically
that.
what she said. That's basically
Okay.
what she said.
That's not really what she said. She said, oh, they're trying to hit me with the BLM fist. And they're saying, oh, you have to raise your fist and blah, 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 blah. She completely cast the entire situation like she's just minding her own fucking business and people are telling her to attack Candace Owens. That's not what fucking happened. She promoted the
She
same fucking story
reported
that
the story. She
okay,
didn't report it as a conspiracy theory. I don't see how
okay.
you could watch her reporting of that.
It's
And
wait, we had an entire conversation and I don't know, because I know you were arguing with Sean about this to some extent. Where like, if someone is saying, hey, if someone lays out this conspiracy theory where they're like, I think Israel killed Charlie Kirk, and my evidence for it is A through Z. And if someone reports and I say, well, I think A through Z is all completely correct, even if it's like very badly sourced, but I don't agree with that conclusion, and I'm going to bring it up in my show and talk about it, it does seem a little fucking suspect. It's like, well, why are you bringing this shit up? And it's also unsourced, and you're believing it. And then when it turns out that it's unsourced, or people
it
point
was
out like,
she
hey,
lit. It
when it's
was not
pointed out that hey,
unsourced.
this information is very like
Oh my
tenuous, and you
God.
shouldn't just believe Max fucking Blumenthal's dumb fuck ass or Candace Owens' dumb fuck ass claiming
Charlie
all
Kirk
this
himself said
information.
it on her show. She played a clip of it. Are you forgetting that?
No, that's a complete different claim. That was the claim
Yes.
of her just of again, as I said earlier in the conversation, is that if she just said, yes, I had an interaction with Charlie Kirk. And by the way, I think this is the real reason she even covered this, is because she
Because
had some
she had
interview.
inside information.
She
Yes.
had some interview. Well, I mean, it wasn't inside, it was public, but she had a public interview with Charlie Kirk that wasn't getting a lot of traction. And she even says this. And she's like trying to, it almost seems to me that she just wants an excuse to kind of like push this interview she had with Charlie Kirk again. Okay. And in the interview, he talks about his frustrations, like I said, about criticizing Israel. That's why I said, if that's all she said, no one would have a problem with that. That's not what she did at all.
Well, we just have a different perception of what she did. I mean, if you want to bring the video up, we can. Are we? I don't. Why do you get so angry? Because we have a different perception.
Okay. I guess I shouldn't. I guess I shouldn't get angry
Yeah.
then.
Why?
Doesn't matter. I
Look,
don't.
I listen. I watched all the videos. She brought it up.
Okay.
I don't. I don't think she leaned into the conspiracy like you're saying. Like you're making it sound like she came out and said maybe, maybe Israel did assassinate Charlie Kirk. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe Candace has a good idea here. And I don't see it that way.
Wait. She literally says to Moynihan. I guess why I'm confused, because I thought you would change your mind about this when you're like, oh yeah, Moynihan's great, because Moynihan thinks she's full of shit. So he's saying
No,
it in a much
Moynihan
nicer
did
way.
look.
Okay.
Moynihan did a great job of pushing back
Yeah,
on.
he called her out without calling her out directly. He's like, this is bullshit, but he's not gonna like try to extract some grievance from her, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's totally fine. That's the only
But
appropriate
look,
thing to do on her
in
channel.
that
But
exchange,
wait, hold on.
Moynihan
Let me
said that.
finish without interrupting me, please. Okay.
Okay.
In the exchange, it's literally starts with Megyn Kelly saying, you should saying, let me say this in Candace's defense. She's brilliant. Candace is brilliant. I realize she's controversial, but she's very smart. She's too smart to F around and say that she's got like the letter. She seems to either have letter recordings that she says that she has. Okay. And that turns out she was totally fucking lying about the letter because they released a whole letter and she was full of shit.
Who did Megyn Kelly see the letter?
No, she trusted. She
Hold on.
trusted Candace
Let me
Owens'
characterize the
recollection of the
exchange
letter.
before we go on. Okay.
Okay.
Moynihan pushing back did a great job at basically. Moynihan realizes that Megyn Kelly has a relationship with Candace Owens that may be coloring her perspective of Candace Owens, and Megyn Kelly admits that she doesn't watch a lot of Candace's stuff. She's super busy. Like she sees some clips now and again and she thinks Candace is great, right? So she doesn't really know all of the wackadoodle conspiracy shit that Candace Owens is peddling. And
Supposedly.
Moynihan comes in and says, look, I listen to her regularly and she's fucking crazy. Okay. She's totally fucking insane. She's off the hook. And he does a good job of pushing back about how maybe you shouldn't be endorsing somebody who is just totally fucking batshit crazy. Yes. But obviously, Megyn Kelly hasn't seen any of these clips. She wants to give her friend the benefit of the doubt. She's like, I don't know. But I think Moynihan does a good job of planting the seed that Megyn Kelly's going to be like, maybe I'll look into some of these other clips first and adjust my behavior going forward. So I thought the exchange was good. I don't think we're at the point. Look, even if she goes straight to the internet and she looks up all these Candace Owens clips, and it turns out Candace Owens is fucking insane. Okay, and she says, to I need to distance myself from this person. I don't think going out and just picking a fight with Candace Owens. Look, Megyn Kelly is a brawler. Like maybe she does that and it has a great time and it ends up blowing up her show. But if she doesn't want to do that, I'm not the type of person that's going to say, okay, you need to go and call Candace Owens out. You
Right.
need to like devote a lot of your time and energy into an internet beef with someone who is obviously crazy. I think Candace Owens is insane. She
The
would knife a
right,
bitch in the middle of the night.
right. The reason I get animated and angry about
Hmm.
this
Okay.
is because what Constantine said to her, to Megyn Kelly, is 10,000% correct.
Right.
Because when Megyn Kelly posted about this on X,
So
you know,
you're going more off of the X exchange than the
well,
videos.
no, it's going to all play back. I'm telling you why I'm
Okay.
angry about this situation.
Do
Okay.
first of all, do you like
I
accept
agree
my
with, yes, your characterization of Moynihan,
is
like,
correct, right? Okay, good.
I mean, I don't know if Megan actually took it to look into it. I have no clue. I hope she
Oh, yeah,
does.
look, I'm
I hope
speculating
she
on
does.
that part.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no clue. But yes, Moynihan did a very good job, expert job at like saying Candace is full of shit and crazy without demanding some sort of extraction or
Yeah, which is
something out
smart.
of Kelly,
Which
which is
is
very
fucking
smart for
smart.
Moynihan to do it. Yes. And he did a very fantastic job of doing it. Okay. My anger about the situation
Right.
is that Megyn Kelly's reaction to people doing this was for her to say, my fight is with the left, not with these two.
Okay, so
And
she
this is
took it
a
in another place. I get that.
very, very easy thing for anyone to do when there's extreme people who are grifters or psychopaths or just fucking out of their mind on their side and to say, oh, no enemies to my left or no enemies to my right. I can only attack the other team, which is a
Yeah.
horrible, which is one of the worst fucking things a human being can do in terms of creating a society that's not run by insane extremist radicals. And Constantine pointed that out perfectly and exactly and pointed out this is exactly what allowed the woke left to take over is that the people that were more moderate as Megyn Kelly's more moderate than Candace were too cowardly or too friendly or what for whatever reason would not point out the fucking crazy radicals to their side. And with Candace isn't a fucking nobody. She's a rising star who just continues to grow and grow and grow an audience. And if everyone just covers their eyes and says, "Well, we can't we can only tap people to the left. We have to ignore Candace Owens." Well, pretty soon her view is going to become the main view of SI.
Did this tweet exchange happen before the video with Moynihan?
It
It's
happened
okay if
after
you
the
don't know.
first one. I don't know if it happened after I don't know when the second one happened in the timeline.
Okay. Yeah, I'm that Moynihan conversation just made it very clear that she honestly doesn't know how crazy Candace is. So, and I
Which
think
is
that's
fine.
obviously relevant. Yeah. But look, she did it. She did a pivot or a dodge, whatever you want to call it. And she dodged in a direction that you found distasteful. I find it distasteful too. Obviously, I think people do need to call out the radicals on their side. So it sucks that we live in an environment where as soon as you do call out the radicals on your side, they boot you out of the party and now you're on the other side. So,
Right.
but, but yes, I just, okay. Are we good? Can we move on
Yes,
or
we can move on. I was gonna
sweet?
see when well, I don't know when it like was filmed, but the release date of the podcast,
Oh, look, you're
the fifth
interested too. Yeah.
the fifth column podcast was after that tweet, was days after that tweet.
Okay. So that makes sense. That's what I'm thinking. So the tweet exchange happens
Right.
and she's thinking, oh, Candace is not crazy. Get out of here. I'm not going to beat up on someone on my
Right.
side for who's just like, who uses hyperbole and rhetorical flourishes, right?
Right.
But
Right.
Moynihan did do a good job of kind of piercing the Megyn Kelly bubble. And I think really letting her know, you probably should not be endorsing this crazy person.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll see
I mean,
if I
if,
don't know if she's commented since, but
yeah, look, I don't know. Also, obviously, if they have any sort of relationship, she's probably not going to call her out. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she did. So, but we'll see how the endorsements go going forward. But I think she's probably going to be a little more cautious around Candace Owens. And look, right now, what Candace Owens is doing is fully disgusting and reprehensible and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Look, sharing DMs of like Charlie
Yes,
Kirk,
that's pretty
that
bad.
is horrible,
Yeah.
horrible.
Yep.
All to do the Israel thing that she is completely obsessed with. I think Kanye West might have hired a hypnotist, brought a hypnotist in
Hmm.
and really fucked with her mind.